Hello and welcome again to another historical video chat with me, Braggy. I'm your host for the day, and this is indeed Northworthy Sagas and Stories. And we are a storytelling channel. We love to talk about Vikings and as well, but we're mainly a storytelling channel. And the history is just the bonus on top, but we do love our history. Now today I'm here to talk about this Viking spear. Why I love it and why I don't love it. And spears were probably one of the most common weapons found in the Viking Age, probably after seaxes. I think seaxes are number one, and I'd say spears or spearheads are number two, found in graves. But I'd love to know the actual correct answer to that. How many seaxes have been found and how many spears in graves. I'm sure somebody out there has done the research. Now this seaxe I'm holding here in my pouch is an everyday one, but this used to belong to someone of a higher rank, but it's still very nice, blunt, and it works well with a spear. It's one of those tools, a spear and a seaxe goes together, I must say. So this spear is on a ash handle, but it's very bendy, as you can see. It's not straight, and it's got a kink at the back. So for any standard Viking battle, this will probably not pass, and I'll have to replace it with an actual spear shaft. This is just one I've got from a wood, and I've shaved down on my wood horse some years ago and attached to this spear. But this spearhead is also hand forged, so it's not the most strongest of spearheads. It's quite weak around this segment, and again may not pass a training officer's liking for spear. It does have a thing at the end, a little bump, a little noggin, so that when you're hitting somebody in battle you're not causing any damage, and all spears should have one of them. Would a spear shaft be straight, or would you fundamentally just go out and get any piece of ash? Well, generally spear shafts are made from much bigger sections of trunk, 12 to 14, even 16 inches, and they are split and quartered until you got enough sections you can get some shafts out of. So that's generally how a shaft is made, rather than just going and get a branch like I've done and just shaving the bark off. But at the time that's all I had, and for on video it's fine. If I was going to battle reenactment, I'll be taking something like this, a 9-foot spear with a much larger head and a ring spear. And again, you'd always use it pointing down with your back end up. With your back end hand, your hand at the back is down, and it's going to be pointing up, and that is dangerous because that's head height. So by always guaranteeing that your back hand over here, your right hand is higher than your left hand, then you're always going to be quite safe with your spear. And when you're a spearman, you should have a shield on this arm. You're always looking for the opportunity of somebody who's got a shoulder showing or a leg, just go and strike and get that kill. And again. Both are very effective, I'm sure you agree. But this is more of a mass manufactured spear, probably from a better trader, and this has just been made by somebody on a forge. So there's a big difference between these two, I'm sure you agree. And of course this one's 9 foot and this one's probably about 6.5 foot, so it's slightly taller than myself. Let's a step back, and I think if I step forward and back, we keep going, you may see the end of that spear. Oh yeah. Now, can you use a 9-foot spear with one hand? You can, but you've got to be very strong. You've got to know what you're doing, and you've got to have your hand closer to the spear. But again, your hands and your arms are going to get very tired doing this, so it's better to use both hands rather than one. And yes, if you're planning to use a one-handed spear, then go for one between 5 foot and 7 foot, which is way more manageable than that 9-foot spear. But again, if I'm using this in battle, I'll be most probably using 2 hands in combination with a shield, because that makes more sense. So yes, and I do love a good spear. I think this one's quite nice, being it's hands forged. You can see the hammer blows. but of course it's weaker, it's much weaker than the other spear, and we'll show that one next. You can see, not a straight shaft, but I do like that kick at the end, how this kicks down, because it does give you that extra bit of grip. And it does make you think whether they'd use any bit of shaft or any bit of branch they could use in an emergency when they've got to get some spears ready for a battle. If you haven't got the spear shafts in, if you haven't got the time to go and chop down a big tree, then you're going to use what you're going to use. So we're going to move to the other spear. Hang on, I can get it with my foot and lift it up without bending down. And so I knock the camera. Now this spear is a wing spear. And you may be asking yourself, well Braggy, why do we have wings on spears? Well, this is A, for hooking shields. You can hook the back of a shield with this side and pull the shield forward, and of course the spearman next to you then sees an opening and stabs the man in his stomach or chest. But it's also used for boar hunting. So if you're hunting a boar and you're stabbing a boar in its mouth, it's attacking you, if you don't have these wings on, what will happen, the boar will just continue to ride up the spear shaft until it pierces itself completely, and it will still continue to try to get you, because it will take a few minutes for it to die. So they have these to be able to control and pin the animal onto the ground, so that it can't escape, and then the rest of the men can come in and club it to death, and then you're going to have your nice boar for your dinner a few days later. And oh yes, it's lovely, very rich meat. Oh yes, again this is a ash shaft. We'll go up close, have a bit of a look. This has been drawn with a draw knife. You can see when you look at it, I can definitely tell that's been used on that's been done on a wood shaving bench. It is quite long. It's also important that your spear is well fastened to your spear shaft. You don't want it loose. If it's loose, it's not fastened on, and you need to go and rivet it properly. And you can just see the rivet. You got that's the main head there, and then that's the bit that came out and they hammered. I can't even remember if I did this one. Now as for the rings, I imagine these are welded on at some point in the manufacturing stage of this spear, because I can see the remains of the mould. It's always slightly raised, but still fascinating. What's your favourite out of the two? Would you prefer to have a shorter spear or a longer spear? Certainly that longer spear gives you the reach. As you can see, I'm quite a distance away, and that's good. Again, always try to point down and not point up. You don't want to poke anybody in the face or the neck. It will hurt them and they won't be very happy. So safety first. Always listen to your training officers in your group and do what they say. Yes. Have you got any comments about shields? Perhaps we'll just test one out. I got a little over here. I've got a shield. So that's the kind of noise you'll get. And of course, it's gonna dent my shield and it's going to knock my paint off. But I don't want to do too much. But that's the kind of sound you'll get from whacking a shield with a spear. And one day, if we ever go to and take part in a Viking reenactment, we'll try to get some better footage. Who knows? So for now, this is the end of this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a random chat. I'm going to try to actually plan some more of these videos and plan them out a little bit better in the future. I was overwhelmed with content and job to do. So, you know it's life. Life catches up with you. Now, there's two things you can do on the channel. Number one, you can share this video. That really helps us to grow and reach a wider audience and a new audience. And number two, give this video a like. By liking the video, your hope is, like I said, to get the algorithm to spread us to more people and make more impressions, and we'll grow and become bigger. So, goodbye from me. And I thank you for watching this video to the very end. Oh yes, lots of love from me and Northworthy.